All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Winona State Football Players Association podcast. I'm fortunate enough today to be joined by Coach Cosgrove. Coach Cos, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So why don't you tell our audience just kind of your path to Winona State, what brought you to Winona State, and then your current role on staff with Coach Bergstrom at Winona State.
Sure. I grew up in Minneapolis, graduated from Washburn High School, played for a guy named Peter Haugen, who's been one of the bigger coaching influences for me and personal influences for me as well. So I played my high school ball for him, and then I went to play college football at St. Cloud State. So that's the first place that I crossed paths with Coach Bergstrom. He coached me for 2 years when I was a Husky, and graduated from St. Cloud, went on to GA at St. Cloud for 2 years, and it timed up. The timeline worked out just perfectly where Coach Haugen from Washburn had gotten a head coaching job at Gustavus Adolphus College. And so when I finished up my GA at St. Cloud, it just timed up just right. I took an entry-level position at Gustavus working for Coach Haugen, thinking maybe it would just be, a couple-year thing, be a great way for me to start my career as a coach. And 15 years later, I'm still there. So I've spent the last 15 years at Gustavus Adolphus College, a small Division III school in St. Peter, Minnesota, with my family. And 2 of those years at Gustavus, I worked with Coach Bergstrom, and that was probably where we got to know each other. And I got to know Coach Bergie's family, and I think we really developed a good relationship. We kept in touch as he went on his journey, and was fortunate enough that it worked out. And he had a position open this off season, and just really excited to be joining the staff here at Winona as the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach.
Awesome. So what was there one specific thing other than the relationship, obviously, that drew you to Winona? What was the kind of magnet that brought you to the river?
Yeah, it was definitely Coach Bergstrom was definitely the tip of the spear in that regard. I think some of it too is, spending 15 years in one place. I don't want to say that I felt stagnant, but I think was just in, right place, right time in terms of just looking for a new challenge in my coaching career. Looking for, I guess, a challenge for my family. Wanted to show my family and our family that we can and will do hard things, and try to set an example that way for my kids and for our family. And it just worked out. It was just like I said, just kind of the right place, right time, and really excited about the challenge.
So you're a little bit unique in my mind, but maybe not. You were an All-American defensive player at St. Cloud. When did you sort of make the move over to coaching offense? Because I believe you spent most of your coaching career on that side of the ball. Is that true?
Yeah, well, so as a player, I mean, I played both ways in high school, and then I was always a defensive guy as a player, and so I played, in college, I should say. So when I got to St. Cloud, I was all defense, and so I played, I guess, like outside linebacker, defensive end in college, and then when I GA'd. I took the GA job at St. Cloud, working for my longtime D-line coach, Steve Grimmett. And really one of my primary roles as a GA was kind of breaking down opposing offenses and, breaking down by formation, by play, how kind of looking at how they want to attack us, what different, blocking schemes they use, run game, protection, pass game, all that kind of stuff. And that was really my first real introduction to kind of like the nuts and bolts of offensive strategy as a coach. And so I kind of fell in love with that part of it. Really trying to, breaking down offenses, and so that was a really cool part of the defensive coaching gig for me, was really learning more about offense and how offenses are trying to attack us defensively. And then in between my first year as a GA at St. Cloud and my second year, our head coach at the time, Randy Hedberg, was unfortunately let go. Um, and then Steve Crutchley, who kind of was Coach Hedberg's right-hand man. Both of those guys coach at North Dakota State now. Just two awesome guys and awesome coaches. Both of those guys left St. Cloud State, and they were both offensive coaches. They were both on the offensive side of the ball. So Coach Underwood took over as the head coach at that time, and we were a little bit short-staffed, a little bit short-handed on offense. So I volunteered. I was like, I'd love to help out if you need a hand, like if we need someone to coach on that side of the ball. I know we're a little bit short-handed, and was fortunate enough to be able to get the experience to work with tight ends and fullbacks that spring, working for Coach Doug Patterson, working with Reed Hoskins, who's now the head coach at Simpson College down in Iowa. And we were still short-staffed, but I learned a ton, and I didn't know anything, but I was trying to coach those guys up and learning on the fly, coaching offensive football. And actually ended up going back to the defensive side the next season. So, and I was actually coaching inside linebackers. So, just got to coach a bunch of different positions, but just kind of getting that initial exposure to offense, it was exciting. When I finished up as a GA, I had kind of two options. I interviewed for the defensive line job at Upper Iowa University, and then I interviewed for the tight ends and fullbacks job at Gustavus. Ended up getting offered the tight ends and fullbacks job, so I took it, and that's kind of how I got into offensive coaching, I guess. And so I've been even though I started as a defensive guy, I guess I've been an offensive guy ever since, and I don't even know if I know enough to go back and coach on the defensive side anymore.
Yeah, for sure. So what's if I had to ask you kind of what's your coaching philosophy, your sort of coaching identity, and then what will your offense's identity be? What's the kind of core principles that your offense is going to stand on, at Winona State?
Yeah. I think I'm a pretty intense coach, but I like to try to skew to the positive side, so I guess if you think about, I guess like a positive, I like to think that I bring a positive intensity to the old line room, to the offense. I view myself as a teacher first, and that's probably not always the way that I've looked at myself or always the way that I've thought about coaching. But I think, just kind of over the years, just seeing different coaches and the coaches that I respect and the coaches that I've learned a ton from, I view as like the best teachers. And so I guess just kind of trying to craft myself to as a coach and kind of hone my craft, I guess, as a coach to really try to become the best teacher that I can be. As far as our offensive philosophy and identity, I think for me, a lot of it starts with the how, and I think we want to have a group of guys that is, we want a unit as an offense that's just rooted in playing with relentless effort and playing with just physical intensity. Just a group of guys that goes hard, and I think some of that might stem from my defensive roots, as coaching that way on the offensive side of the ball, bringing some of that intensity and some of those values, I guess. But, we want to be a team that is rooted in championship communication. Everything's going to start for us with technique. We want to be great technicians with what we do, pay great attention to the detail of the game. And, I think so that's where it starts with me. Is always going to be with the how and how we're going to play rather than like the X's and O's and the strategy. Now, when it comes to that stuff's important too. And that's a really fun part of the game as well. And I'm always a big believer that everything starts with the run. So we're going to have a multiple run scheme. We're going to find ways to be able to attack defenses on, different angles, different schemes. We're going to run some inside zone. We're going to run some mid zone, some outside zone. We'll find ways to run gap scheme. pin and pull, a lot of the same stuff, honestly, that Winona State ran last year and previously, with maybe some of our own little different spin, and nuance and stuff like that. But we're going to find a way to run the football. We're going to build the RPO and the play action off of the run. And, we're going to do it playing a million miles an hour, try to get our guys to play really fast, really confident. I love, I'm a big believer that guys need to play fast and free in order to be successful as football players. And so we're going to try to get our guys to that point. Yeah, we want to be a team with an identity that's, and just because I say everything starts with the run, I think like wide receivers and quarterbacks and guys that get the ball all the time, they get a little scared when an old line coach is the OC because they're like everything, is run and all that, but I'm a big fan of scoring points, and whatever's going to score points, like the best way for us to score points is going to be, is going to be what we're going to do. So we want to be multiple. We want to run the football, but at the end of the day, really for us, I think the guiding principle is always going to be players over plays. And that's a program philosophy, and really trying to find a way to get our best players the football and get our best players in position to be successful. And I have a passion for that, like just putting guys in position to be successful at the game they love, in the game they love. I'm a big fan of that, big believer in that, and love when you see guys succeed, guys reach their full potential.
So just a follow-up question to that I love asking, new coaches, new people around in my business, even, why do you do what you do? What is it that makes you click as a football coach? What really gets you excited, and why are you a football coach?
Yeah, I think clearly, there's something about the strategy and the competition that scratches the itch, that maybe the typical job doesn't, maybe the typical desk job doesn't. Like the competition and the strategy, I think is, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a big reason for it. But I think at the end of the day, for me, as I look at it, my mission is really just to try to help those people that are under my care, or that I am, that I'm tasked with leading, to help those people reach their full potential, whether that's my kids, my children, or the players on our offensive line, or the players in our unit. Is like, I just feel like I have a passion for trying to help people reach their full potential, as people, as students, and as football players.
Awesome. So you probably, and I haven't prepared you or scripted you for this, but about the FPA and what we do, and we're about community and connecting alumni and the community and the fan base together. And also, we've sort of morphed into and turned into a large fundraising organization, for the football program directly. Can you just for a second talk about how important that is and the impact it has on the kids? And I know you've only been on campus a few weeks, but I know from being around the game how important that is. Would you mind just sharing for a minute how important that is to you guys as a staff and to the team?
Sorry, can you be I've missed the first part of it, just about what the FPA.
FPA, yeah. Can you just talk about how important an organization like the FPA is to Winona State football?
Yeah, in the short time I've been there, clearly it's been impactful. I mean, just the little bit that I've seen, there were three former Winona State football players that spoke to our team, and we were in a team setting, and whether, and just spoke like there's three players, and I'm blanking on the names, so I'm sorry, but it was just like there were three guys that were all entrepreneurs, and they were all able to kind of share their experiences and share their, what Winona State football did for them. And I think that some of that, just hearing and seeing guys that have been in our players' shoes, literally, have been in their shoes, have literally sat in their seat and worn their jersey, to hear them, and talk about some of their stories, and how Winona State football impacted them and how Winona State football prepared them for life after football was, I think, is just invaluable. And that was something that was really cool for me to see. And then I think just the financial support that the FPA is able to provide for us as coaches, for our program, and for our players is just hugely impactful. And honestly, we couldn't do it without the FPA and their support. And it's just been amazing.
Well, Coach Cos, welcome to town. Welcome to Winona State. A few weeks past due, but I know it was a blur probably for you getting started, and I'm sure you're looking forward to getting your family to town and getting settled. Best of luck this summer during recruiting season. Keep up the great work. We can't wait to see you on the field this fall, and wish you the best of luck. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Please click on the link below for an opportunity to help support the Football Players Association. We'd love it, financially or otherwise. Connect with us, and we look forward to seeing you at a game this fall. Coach Cos, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.